Okay, so we're back. We're going to try to open up your stomach today, or on this round. So remember we had the liver with the diaphragm on top of it, and this flat area in the spleen looks like a tongue hanging out on it. This is the stomach. So when we look at the stomach, we have this big large curve at the base of the stomach. That's called the greater curvature. All right, there's a lesser curvature, which is at the very top, and it looks like a little check mark, a little V, basically where the cystic or the common bile duct is coming down in to the duodenum area. So there's just a little check mark here. We're going to focus on that greater curvature. You can move your spleen out of your way. It may kind of rip on you. But with the spleen, get him tucked out of there. We don't want to take the stomach completely out, but we are going to use our scissors, make a little snip hole, and then follow the edge of the greater curvature around so that we can open up the pouch, kind of like a little clamshell there from the bottom to see up in there. Now, if you've got a bunch of goo inside your stomach, you can take Kleenex and kind of dab at it. Mine's just mostly wet. Some of you may have chunks. It may be green, but you'll want to kind of empty that out. So once you get the stomach open, it has sections to it. So the top part of it's called the cardiac because it's closest to the heart. Back along the curve, there looks like a cave, like a little hole back in there. And that's called the fundus of the stomach. The main area, central, is the body. And then where you see this area emptying into the small intestine, and there's a little knot, that's called the pyloric sphincter, and it's at the pylorus area of the stomach. So once again, the top's the cardiac. You have the blind little pouch up in the top corner that's called the fundus. The main part's the body, the pyloric region, and the pyloric sphincter. So you can see that little puckering of muscles, a sphincter. It controls the fluids going out. Now, all the little folds and ridges in the stomach are called rugae. They help expand the surface area of your stomach. Now, if you're really good, you might be able to find the cardiac sphincter, which is what's controlling the food coming into the stomach. And it's kind of hidden. The pyloric's easy to see. So the cardiac is between the fundus, the blind pouch, and the pyloric sphincter. And I usually use my probe and I just kind of slide it back in and see where does it seem like it just gets sucked into a groove. And so my probe got sucked in right there. And so that is actually where the esophagus enters into the stomach, and that's the control area so that food doesn't come back up the esophagus. But that's the esophageal or cardiac sphincter that we have right there. So those are the main parts of your stomach. Now, if you're really energetic, we can come over here to the cecum. So remember, we had the spiral colon, and you have this green pouch coming off the end of the spiral colon. Where the small intestine, where the tan tube connects to the green tube, if you squeeze your fingers right between it, there's a little knot inside. That's the ileocecal valve. And in order to see the ileocecal valve, you can cut the cecum, and then there's a lot of green poo. So, I mean, if you really don't want to do that one, since you're not there with me, you don't necessarily have to do that, but you're just making a slit in the cecum. And then when you clean that out, it looks like a little nozzle that's stuck in there. But you want to get the green poo out. It's kind of stringy, kind of gooey, so it doesn't get all over your pig. The other cool thing you can kind of see are villi, and they line the small intestines pretty much anywhere in the small intestine. But again, if you just make like a cut along the top, don't cut the whole intestine out, and you look inside, and it's kind of hard to see with the video, but you'll be able to see it on your pig. But when you open up that slit in the small intestine, there's like little fuzzy lining. It's almost velvety, and those are the villi that are in there, and there's nothing to clean out. It's just to find that slit area to do that. So we have the ileocecal valve, we have the slit to see the villi that are in there, and then all the parts of the stomach. So good luck. Let me know if you have a problem, and we'll see if we can find some things.